going live, and you are looking live at Sold Out. The Sold Out Polo Grounds. Yeah, we're going back in the day here, folks, where today the 16-0 New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. Why the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. And welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody at all out there? Anybody at all? Going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. You guys are the absolute best. I'm going to try to shoot my mouth out or mouth off for about 30 minutes here, as I try to do every night. Sometimes it goes a little bit longer. Sometimes past couple nights goes even a lot longer than that. But anybody got anything to say, just throw it in the chat box. I usually check on the chat box like, maybe 5-10 minutes or so. So anybody got anything to say, just throw it in the chat box and I will respond. I mean, almost like any comment that gets in there, I want to respond to it. So please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. The top link in the description box, okay? Click on it, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. There's different loyalty badges, which is pretty cool, and there's emojis. I got 4 emojis. There will be a 5th one coming out eventually, but I had the loyalty badges. And the emojis, they had them made on Fiverr. Okay, they're pretty cool. All right, so I mean, you can use them, the emojis in the chat box or any comments you make or anything like that. So, if anybody wants to help support my channel, as I said once again, it would mean the absolute world to me. And I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, okay, please click that subscribe button below, right, and hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or I put out a video, you'll be notified, and it's free of charge. So please feel free. All right. And then finally, in the description box below, there's links to I got a Facebook group. Okay. Oddly enough, it's called the Gridiron. New York Giants the Gridiron. It's a group. Okay. There's 3 links in the description box below for Facebook. The top one is the group. Okay. It has over 1,800 members in it. Okay. And as I said, with that, I try to put at least 5 things or so, if not more, every day in there. Try to keep stuff fresh in there. And also with the group, when you join, you can post things as well in there too. So, I mean, not only am I putting stuff in there, but members of the group are putting stuff in there as well too. So there's a lot of stuff going in there every day. And I said 7 days a week. I always try to spend some time, with the group, with the YouTube channel and all of that. So please feel free, click on that link and become a member of the Gridiron, the group. All right. And then finally, there's 2 more links in the description box that for pages. Okay. The bottom one is called This Day in Giants Football History. I'm not as active on that yet. I will be in the future. Just right now, a lot of my time is being spent on the YouTube channel, and in the group, okay, and in this one Facebook page that I have. There's another Facebook page. It's a page, okay. It's called the Gridiron. I know, very original, huh? But I tell you what, the page is growing like wildfire. I'm up to 311 likes. I'm at 807 followers. I think before Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, last Saturday, I had like 590 followers. For some reason, it's really starting to take off. So in the past, what we got? 6 days, somewhere around there, 5-6 days, whatever. I've gone from about 600 followers to up to over 800 now. I mean, I'm getting 20, 30, 40 followers a day. It's just growing like crazy. It's really starting to take off. And I said, with that, it's the same thing there. I put like at least 5 things in there every day, right? If not more, right? And the same thing. That's 7 days a week. I always try to put stuff in there, try to keep stuff fresh. So please click on that link. All right, go over to the Gridiron, the page, like it and follow it, and you won't be disappointed. So hit up the group and the page, and you get a lot of New York Giants information all in one spot. All right, you won't be disappointed. I promise. Okay, money back. Get your money back guaranteed if you're disappointed. All right, with all that stuff out of the way. All right, well, what do we got today? Well, today we got, I seen this, Mom, I mean, who's going to know better than, we'll start with Odell Beckham Jr. and his driver. His driver, probably knows better than most people. He knows, as he points out in this article here, move over effing Adam Schefter. I mean, I don't know who the frick Adam Schefter is anyway. Why? I don't know. He's like always the first one to come out with stuff and all. I mean, why am I telling this guy anything? I mean, I have no idea. I mean, when something happens, he's the first one to report it all. I'm not. What the hell I want to tell that douche anything for? But Danny Chalet, a.k.a. Danny Boy Hustle Hard, okay, is the official driver for Odell Beckham Jr. and Saquon Barkley. According to his Instagram bio, Wednesday night, he dropped off what could be an NFL news bombshell when he claimed that Beckham was not signing with the Cowboys. So he said, "You people thought Odell was going to the Cowboys, right?" He said, "Let me tell you something. Let me tell you people something. I am better than effing Adam Schefter. I am better than effing Jordan Schultz. He is not going to no Cowboys. You want to know where he's going? Tune the F in right here." So I guess it's to be continued, shall we say? Okay, but he's not going to the Cowboys. The Cowboys had some concern about, whether he was able to, play this season, or when he was going to be able to play this season or whatever. The one thing that happened was, you got Jerry Jones, shooting his mouth off, okay, as he does, right? He's very good at that. Just talk, right? Shooting his mouth off. He can be his worst enemy, shall we say? I mean, he can be, talking guys up and getting them in with the Cowboys and all that. I mean, he can be a good ally, right? But he can also be his worst enemy too. And when Brian Dable was at Monday at his press conference, he was talking about that we had a good meeting with Odell. He left, and we had a good steak dinner. And that's all I'm going to say. Boom. That's all I was going to say. Of course, the next 315 questions from the guy, from the people in the, or whatever, the reporters, was all about Odell Beckham. He said, "Guys, that's all I'm going to say about the thing. If you want to bring up another question, that's all I'm going to say." So, of course, the next 312 questions are all about Odell Beckham Jr. But he basically just kept saying the same thing. If they thought Odell wasn't ready or this or that, or, you didn't hear from Dable. You didn't hear from anybody in the Giants organization. Okay. So it'd be interesting to see. Now, the thing is, is that, the same thing with Buffalo. He went to Buffalo. You're not hearing anything. I don't think I didn't hear anything from Buffalo about him maybe not being able to play. Oh, I do know he left Buffalo without a contract. Okay. But I do know that, like, next year, okay, the Giants are the ones with, okay, they got the money. They got, we're in a spot track. They got about $51 million. If they let Kenny Golladay go after June 1st next year, they'll save themselves another $13 million. Okay. That'll put them from 51 to about 64, whatever, 64, 65, somewhere in that neighborhood. Probably closer to 65. Something else they could do, okay, is, I don't think you want to let Leo the Lion go. I really think you want to, next year's his last year. All right. I think we got something going on here. Okay. With Sexy Dexter and Leo the Lion in there. And then we got Azeez and Kayvon. I think we got our front four. Okay. We need some depth without question. But I would sign Leo to another, he's not He ain't over the hill, right? You know, he's been in the league for I think 8 years now. So but he still has some. He still can play. Extend him another couple years, right? Extend him maybe another 3 years, where you can get out after 2 if need be. Okay. But his cap hit next year, I believe, is $31 million, I think. Okay. Extend him out next year, right? Give him a sign-in bonus, so that way he gets some cash up front, and you can break that sign-in bonus up over the course of the 3 years of the deal or whatever, right? And that way you take that $31 million cap hit, maybe bring it down to 20 or whatever. Okay. So, I mean, you can save like another, $10 million there. I'm just speculating here. So the Giants could, quite possibly have 75 million, if not more, in salary cap. Okay. Room next year. I mean, let's not be, kid ourselves here. Giants got to sign Julian Love. Got to. We don't have a quarter. We got Tyrod Taylor for 1 more year, but we don't have a quarterback. So if you're going to bring back Daniel Jones, okay, you're going to have to pay him, right? Not a lot. Maybe you can get away with $20 million, somewhere around there. I don't know if anybody's going to be breaking down the door to dish out all kinds of bucks for Daniel Jones. But I said, maybe you can pay him $20 million. But, maybe give him some kind of a sign-in bonus. That way you take that $20 million and maybe get the cap hit on it, maybe only 15 or so. Maybe try to re-sign Saquon. You ain't got many weapons. He's one of them, okay? As I said, if you can re-sign him, okay, to a cap-friendly deal, as I said, maybe get the cap hit next year. And if we're paying him, just saying $12 million, just throwing a number out there. So instead of the $12 million going against the cap, right, structure it where it's only going to be $7 or $8 million or so. You know what I mean? So maybe if you can get Daniel Jones, right, and Saquon Barkley, you can maybe get the 2 of them for $20 million, $25 million toward the cap next year. So you still have like $50 million left. So we got to sign Julian Love. So we got to spend some money. All right, but we're gonna have like 11 draft picks, right? We're gonna have to sign those guys. You're going to want probably at least $10 million, hopefully, to go into the season next year. But I said the Giants could work if they work their magic, they work the numbers right, they can certainly have over $70 million in cap money next year. The Cowboys do not. The Cowboys have like 1.9 million as of right now. Okay. The Cowboys, the chips are in the middle of the table for them right now. Okay. Because they have $1.9 million, I believe it is. They can't even sign their draft class, and they got a lot of free agents that are going to be flying the coop next year. So the team that's this powerful this year, bye-bye, going to be gone next year. Okay, I'm not saying they're going to be a horrible team next year. Absolutely not. But they're not. I don't think they're going to be strong. Oh, there's hey, Ronnie, who's talking about talking Giants here. And the Cowboys, they're not going to be as good as they are. The Rams-Raiders game is really? I'm not even watching. I mean, those are the two. Rams and Raiders. Oh yeah. No, I'm not even going to watch that. This is so much more important. And then the Bills. The Bills are like $10 million in the hole. Right? So I mean, they can't sign. They have a hard time signing him for any time of lengthy contract. So I think the Giants have a shot at maybe signing Odell Beckham. Now, will he play this year? Who knows? But we'll have to wind up waiting and seeing. Baker is still awful. Oh, he's with the Rams, right? Oh yeah, yeah. His career is. It's yeah. I mean, if he wants to be like maybe a backup someplace, I think, but yeah, he ain't no starting quarterback. McKinney should be back for the week. Hopefully. They're talking about maybe taking the pins out and then maybe putting a club on his hand if worse comes to worse. Right. So at least maybe we'll have him out there. Right. So we have Julian Love out there. Maybe we get him out there. And maybe we get Adoree Jackson back. That would be huge. Right. I mean, unfortunately, we're going to be a little weak this week against the Eagles. with the injuries, but had the pins taken. Oh, they were taken out today. Okay. Very good. Adoree should be back also. Yeah, I said that's going to be huge in the secondary because we didn't have those guys against the Commanders the first time, right? It would be huge if we can get them guys, And then if Leo can come back, if he can play the whole game, if we can have Azeez, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and Kayvon, got the front four there. If we get Adoree Jackson, right? Because it's with his knee. I mean, try covering somebody with they got some talented receivers without question, the Commanders, and try covering those guys with a bad knee. Good luck. Leo should be back. Yeah, also, I hope. Yeah, looks like we're going to be a little shorthanded this week against the Eagles, but we need all the help we can get, especially against the Commanders, because we lose to the Eagles. We're 7-5-1. That would be almost a must-win game. Almost, you got to win. You got to beat the Commanders, because if you lose to them and you're 7-6-1, right? And then the Commanders would be 8-5, and the Commanders have a game that Commanders have the head-to-head on you. Forget about it. And then so then we'd be would be the Cowboys, it'd be Commanders, and the only other team I guess would be out there might be the Seahawks. So we would have to try to beat. But they got the head-to-head on us too, right? So we got. So if we don't lose, if we beat the Eagles somehow, right? Takes a little bit of pressure off against when we're playing the Commanders. But if we lose to the Eagles and we're 7-5-1, that game against the Commanders, that's a huge game. It's a huge game for both teams, because if the Giants beat the Commanders, okay, now the Giants have the head-to-head against the Commanders because they tied once and they won once. So the Giants, so for the Commanders have to bump out the Giants, the Commanders have to have a better record than the Giants. So that's going to be a huge game Sunday night. That's going to be a good one. I said, hopefully, if we lose to the Eagles, we lose to the Eagles, right? But, that game against the Commanders, it's going to be huge. OBJ, come home. What do you think should be done about Collins? The thing is with Collins is that they brought him up twice already. If they bring him up one more time, he goes against the salary cap. And they only have like $2.5 million or so, or whatever. So if they bring him up, whatever his salary is, I don't know. I should know. It's like 700,000-800,000, whatever it might be. That goes against the cap. So I think Shane, he doesn't want to blow all the cap money right now. He's want to see if he can hold off as long as he possibly can, because if we start using up all the cap money, then we'll have to start getting some money from someplace else. And the only other place we can get money from, unfortunately, would be Kenny Galladay's contract. And Shane does not want to do that. He does not want to kick the can down the road, right? He wants, he wants Golladay gone, okay? It's going to be a post, be an after June 1st cut. That way he's going to save like 13.7, I think it is, million. If they cut him beforehand, he's only going to save like a little over 6, okay? But if they cut him before, after June 1st, it's like 13.7, 13.5 million. It's going to be a lot, all right? So we're going to go from having about 51 million or somewhere around there. It depends upon what website you look the numbers up. But I look at Spot Track, okay? That's just where I go. But they're going to go from about 51 to 52 million to up to about 65 million after we let Kenny Golladay go. But I said, I know he does not want to cut his contract or touch his contract, so what do we got? 5 games left, right? So we're holding on. We got like $2.5 million or whatever it is in salary cap space. We're just trying to hold on and just trying to make it out through the rest of the season. So that's why maybe the last game of the season, if we have some money, maybe he'll bring Collins up, okay? And that will go against the cap hit, but we can bring Collins up. But, we'll have to wait and see. But I think that's why Collins is on the practice squad and not coming up. If we had like $10 million in salary cap money, yeah, he'd probably be on the team. But we don't, thanks to Dave Gettleman. So what do you got? We signed, but we need Collins, yeah, I know. He's coming home. I mean, let's see. We shall know very soon. Yeah, I was just talking to him. I said his driver says he ain't going to the Cowboys. Right. And I said, there's only so many teams that, can maybe, afford to pay him, just throwing a number out there, $15 million a year. Right. It ain't the Cowboys next year. Cowboys maybe can figure out a way to get him on the team this year and maybe get him for a Super Bowl run or something like that. But I mean, they're in trouble next year. They can't afford 15 million or so, whatever, next year. The Eagles can't next year. The Bills can't next year. I mean, a lot of these teams, their chips are in the middle of the table right now. We got to win this, So, because next year is going to be a little bit different. I'm not saying the Eagles are going to be horrible next year. I'm not saying the Cowboys are going to be horrible, but there's going to be changes coming on those teams because they don't have the salary cap money. The Giants do. Giants got 11 picks next year. Okay. A lot of salary cap money, right? Plus also there's like at least four of our, who is it? McKeithen, right? Beavers, Davidson, and Wan'Dale Robinson. We got those four draft picks are gone for the season, right? We don't even have those guys, right? So hopefully we'll get them back. Maybe if we're lucky, knock on wood, we'll keep those guys will be healthy. What we had, like 11 picks this year, 11 picks next year. That's 22 guys, right? 22 guys that Shane and Dable and all want on the team, and we're gonna have some salary cap money. So a couple questions, is what are we doing with Daniel Jones, right? And Saquon Barkley, right? What are we going to do? I mean, I'm sure they want to sign Saquon, but I'm sure they don't want to break the bank on him either, right? It's a gamble with Dan. I don't know what they're thinking with Daniel Jones. I'm not sure. Well, yeah, we can pay it. He just say, hey, have unfinished business with Saquon. Well, okay. That's, I like his little tweets here and there that come out. They're pretty good. What do you think is the hardest person to cover on the Well, the one nice thing, okay, is the Eagles with Dallas Goedert. Okay. He's on injured reserve. Okay. He's like 6'5", he's a very good tight end. Okay. The thing is with the Eagles is this is one thing I got brings me to my thing here. I'm gonna go over the Eagles. I mean, it's like almost kind of like pick your poison on offense. All right, PFF. What do we got here? The Eagles are the second highest graded offensive team, just behind the Chiefs. Passing. The Eagles are number 5 according to PFF. Pass blocking. The Eagles are number 1, according to PFF, 81.2 pass blocking grade. The receiving grade, the Eagles are number 7. We're at 78.6. Their running grade, let's see, the Eagles is 85.4. And their run blocking, is 75.5. Their offensive line is just really, really good. Where are we at here? Their offensive line is just really good. Do I have them here? No, I don't. All right, but they're the receivers. Okay, our leading receiver, wide receiver / tight end. Not talking about Saquon out of the backfield. Our leading wide receiver has 33 catches. Okay, Darius Slayton. All right, the Eagles, we got our leading receiver is 33. Their leading receiver, they got 2 of them. A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith both have 61. So basically their top 2 have almost twice as many as our top 1 wide receiver. They have 61 apiece. Our top guy is 33. So, and then not to mention, they got Dallas Goedert, who is their tight end, who's missed 3 games. He has 43 receptions, all right, in 9 games. So he's catching about 5 balls a game. If he played in all 12 of their games, okay, he'd have almost 60 receptions as well. So they would have almost 3 guys if Goddard was not injured, all right? They would almost have 3 guys on their team that have 60 or more receptions. We have one wide, and I'm not including their running back or nothing. Okay, so I'm just taking running backs out of the equation. They between their wide receivers and their tight ends, the Eagles would have 3 guys with like 60 or more receptions. We have one guy who is I'm sorry, Richie James is 31 and Darius Slayton is 33. So it's like, it's like pick your poison. It's tough. I mean, Brown is just big and physical, right? And he made some silly ass catches. He was playing against the Titans over the weekend. Of course, I was over at my friend's house. He had the Eagle game on, so I had to watch some of it. I tried not to. But, I mean, Brown was going up against the Titans, which is his former team. He was making some silly, silly catches. I mean, he's just good, really good. And DeVonta Smith is tough to cover, okay? A.J. Brown was making catches with guys on him. I mean, he's just big and physical. I mean, so it's like pick your poison. I mean, it's tough to keep up with DeVonta Smith. Very, very good, very agile, tough to to stay on top of. And just Brown, you can be on top of the guy and he still makes catches. So they're just so good. I mean, you got Miles Sanders, their running back. Okay, he only has 17 receptions, but I mean, he's averaging, what have we got? 4.9 yards a rush. He has 925 yards rushing, 187 attempts. He has 9 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts has 9 touchdowns as well, right? Jalen Hurts is 4.6 yards a carry, right? Obviously Jalen Hurts, a lot of his is scrambling at it, from the passes break down, nothing's open. He just takes off and gets some yards on you and everything. But, Sanders is a very good back, but let's also not forget, okay, the problem that Saquon has, okay, Saquon's a better back, but Saquon does not have the offensive line the Eagles do, okay? Saquon does not have the wide receivers that the Eagles do, okay? So therefore, the defense can just start kind of moving up and kind of keying in on Saquon. Okay, with Miles Sanders, they can't do that because if they just start crowding the line of scrimmage, we're just going to take Miles Sanders out of the game. Well, they got some wide receivers who's going to blow the doors off you, right? So they got to keep things spread out. The defenses when they're playing the Eagles, right? You got Brown on one side, you got to worry about. You got Smith on the other side, you got to worry about. All right, you got Jalen Smith is like a water butt. The guy's a phenomenal athlete. And their offensive line is just unbelievable. Lane Johnson, the right tackle, I believe I heard in a podcast, hasn't given up a sack in 2.5 years. I mean, they're just good. Really, really good. Okay, their offensive line is just phenomenal. All right, and I've said this a million times. They have nobody hurt on. And the Dallas Goedert is on injured reserve, okay? But, I mean, their offensive line is still intact. The receivers are fine. The quarterback is fine. The running back is fine. The cornerback, Slay and Bradbury are fine. I mean, they really have like nobody hurt, unlike the Giants. We got a lot of guys. So I mean, it's almost like pick your poison. I mean, you got to hope that maybe you certainly don't want to give up any big plays. Make them, if anything, march down the field, 10, 15 play drive. Don't give up anything big. I don't know if you want to go back to, what the Giants kind of were like last year, if you want to call that. I mean, a lot of it, the Giants gave up a high completion percentage last year with Graham as the defensive coordinator, right? Complete the pass in front of him, come up and make the tackle, right? I mean, because we're kind of struggling with a lot of good quality depth right now at cornerback. The guys are playing decent, right? There's no doubt about that. But, we don't have our top guys out there, so it's hopefully we can get some pressure from Azeez and Kayvon. They got to keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket. All right. Can't let him go out. They can't run down the field. Okay. Past the tackles and to try to wrap around and all that. You can't do that. You got to collapse the pocket on Jalen. All right. So if he tries to bounce out, he's got to bounce out in the back of the pocket. All right. And hopefully with the agility of Kayvon and Azeez, maybe we can track him down. All right. Leo the Lion, if he can play, and Sexy Dexter, they got to push the pocket. All right. They're going to have to, you know what I mean? They're going to have to do the best they can to collapse the pocket and can't give up any big gaps, right? You just got to collapse it around Jalen Hurts. Try not to let him escape, right? I heard he's not very accurate when he's under pressure. Okay. So, you know, I said you can't let him escape the pocket. I know it's a lot easier said. It's like trying to say Lamar Jackson. He can't escape the pocket. You know, it's a lot easier said than done. All right. But, you know, I mean, they're just so well balanced. Okay. What do we got here? We got the stat. Yeah, they got the stats here. Okay. The Eagles are yards per play. The Eagles are number 5 at 5.9 yards per play. They're 5th overall. Okay. Total yards. Chiefs are number 1 at 5,079. The Eagles are number 3, 4,659 as far as yards. Okay. I mean, they don't turn the ball over. They've only had 10 turnovers. They've lost 7 fumbles. Jalen Hurts has only thrown 3 interceptions. Okay. So they're basically 1 turnover a game. Okay. Which is very acceptable. All right. The Giants are a little bit more than that. Not too much, but I mean, let's see, what we got turnovers here. Where are the Giants at? I think the Giants, let's see here. Giants are 12 turnovers. Okay. All right. We've had 12. Okay. We had 5 interceptions. Tyrod Taylor threw 1, Daniel Jones thrown 4, and we lost 7 fumbles. Okay. So we got 12, and the Eagles have only had 10 turnovers. All right. Actually, the Eagles lead the league in the fewest turnovers. They've only had 10 turnovers. Right. So if the Giants can somehow get 2 or 3 turnovers, that would be huge. Whether the turnovers stop an Eagle drive in Giants territory or whether it's the Giants getting points, right? Like, you know, like what the Giants did this past weekend. Strip sack, right? Recovered the fumble. A few plays later, the Giants move in, score a touchdown, right? You know, the Giants can somehow get 2 or 3 turnovers. It would be huge because when the Commanders beat the Eagles, okay, a few weeks back, the Commanders forced the Eagles into 4 turnovers. Okay, that was huge. Okay, you know, make the, you know, I mean, the Eagles only had 10 turnovers all year. 4 of them won that one game against the Commanders. Right, so that, you know, if the Giants could somehow get a few turnovers, that would be absolutely huge. All right. A good pass rush will help that. Okay. But let's see what do we got? The passing yards. I mean, they're just very balanced. All right. The passing yards by the Eagles. Eagles, where the hell are they at? The Eagles are number 15 in passing yards at 28.04. Okay. 20 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions. Phenomenal. Okay. Rushing yards. What do we got here? Rushing yards. The Eagles Eagles actually just a little bit above the Giants, but the Eagles have 1,855 rushing yards. All right. They're number 5. Okay. I mean, just balanced. I mean, you know, they can beat you with the run. They can beat you with the pass. You know, so it's almost like, you know, pick your poison. I mean, the Giants have such a hard time stopping the run because their linebackers in the second, you know, the middle line, inside linebacker are just not that good. Not that good. They get run over. You know, they can't get away from blocks, right? And they're not that good. We need a linebacker next year. We need a wide receiver, and we need an inside linebacker next year. Look for the Giants, you know, maybe try to upgrade the offensive line, you know, or we'll have to wind up waiting and see what they do, you know, as far as a quarterback, right? But you know, we need an inside linebacker without question. Somebody who can shed a block, right, and fill the hole, you know, because you know, between Kalitro, who I don't even know when the last time he played, Jay Crowder, Jalen Smith, Micah McFadden, those guys are just getting washed away, right? And we're just giving up huge chunks, huge holes, right? And it's just so tough, you know, to we're really having a hard time. I mean, as I said, it's almost like what we got? Yes, so Joe Marrow would try and please him. Who do you think is the hardest person to go? Oh, yeah. OBJ comes Giants. It's going to be a hell of a story. Oh, yeah. Mara would try and please. Yeah, I mean, I think Mara's got a little soft spot, maybe, because I think kind of possibly, it wasn't Mara maybe that wanted him to go. It might have been Gettleman. Maybe saw him as maybe some type of a cancer or something in the locker room and just wanted him gone. Right. So I think maybe Mara having him come back, would be pretty. And as I said, he's not going to need $30 million a year. Nobody's paying him that. He gets injured too much. He's been around 2014. So he's starting to get up there in age. He's not like the way he was in 2014 and 2015, right? So, he's got some injuries. But that would be awesome. We got Mara. I heard companies were lining up to hand out sponsorship. Oh, yeah. Yes, let his line work and get tired. Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing with him. I mean, if you come in New York, I mean, you can make a boatload of money. I mean, you don't even need necessarily, to, he'll make his money playing football, but, he can make money doing other stuff. He's got the name, right? He's got the name. I mean, as long as he doesn't, I'm not saying anything. I mean, as long as he doesn't go out and start killing people or something like that, I mean, the dude's pretty much set. Right? I mean, the guy's a superstar. I mean, if he stays with even, smart head, thinks about what he's doing and all that, and just, right? Place, lives a smart life, shall we say. I mean, the guy's, I mean, he's set. I mean, he's set. He can get all kinds of endorsements and stuff like that. That's OBJ, right? That's all you hear. So, I mean, we can certainly sign him for next year, right? I mean, it would be nice. But Azeez is back. Let's hope he can help with the pressure. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I hope his calf or whatever stays healed. Let's hope. Because, I mean, we got some pressure. I mean, there was some good – I mean, not only – what are we at? 5 sacks, I think it was last week. But not only that, but there was hits on the quarterback. There was pressure, right? There was hurries. There was this. There was that. So we could use that against Jalen Hurts. Now, Taylor Heineke is not Jalen Hurts, obviously, but, if we can get, Jalen Hurts, to hurry and all that, that helps. See, that helps the secondary out. That's huge. A good secondary can help a poor pass rush. A good pass rush can help a poor second, And I'm not saying the guys are poor, but I mean, they're just like and we got Zion Gilbert. I mean, okay, off the practice squad. Okay, well, you're covering. You're a starting cornerback, right? So I mean, but I mean, with Azeez, absolutely. OBJ was tired of. Oh yeah, I mean that's all we were doing. I mean, well, in 2016 we went to the playoffs, but after that. But I was so happy for him last year when he got the Super Bowl ring with the Rams. Good, what I mean? Because I mean he went to he left us, right? Then he went to Cleveland. That didn't really work out too well, especially between him and Baker. That didn't work out very well at all. And then you had then he went to the Rams. So even if he retires in a couple of years, he's got himself a ring. So good for him. Really, really happy for him. But I mean, you can definitely start seeing. With Shane, hopefully with Dable and the coaching staff and all, hopefully, you can kind of see things are turning for the better for the Giants. I know it might stink if the Giants wind up missing the playoffs this year. That's going to stink and all that, but we'll have a nice, healthy salary cap next year. Hopefully in the future, we'll continue to have a healthy salary cap if Shane keeps that under control. We got another 11 draft picks, right? I'm not saying we hit on everyone this year. I'm certainly not saying that, but we hit on a few. All right. I mean, Daniel Bellinger, right? Dane Belton. Okay. Obviously Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, the guy gets hurt, but I mean, Kayvon, Evan Neal, right? We didn't get to see what Darian Beavers can do because he's hurt. McKeithen, right? I mean, the Zudu's been banged up a lot. So we got 11 guys here. We're going to get another 11 guys next year in the draft. I mean, what do we got? I think 2 third round. We got a first, a second, and 2 thirds. two-thirds. So in the top 100, we're going to have another 4 players that we're going to be drafting, right? That's going to help. So I'm not saying we're going to be Super Bowl bound next year, but, hopefully each year, right? This year we get 7, 8 wins, whatever, 9, whatever it winds up being. Hopefully next year, we get the same amount, or maybe we get 9 or 10, right? Just keep moving in the right direction, right? But the biggest thing, 5 sacks, yeah. Okay, that's what it was, 5, yeah. Oh, yeah. But, I mean, the biggest thing, what are we doing at quarterback? All right, what are we doing? I mean, there's the Daniel Jones he's not the guy. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, we've had our offensive line's been banged up. We have no wide receivers, right? I mean, it's kind of like, it's tough. I mean, has Daniel Jones had a real fair share? No. But then again, so that's a tough call. They got a tough decision to make there. I'd be interested to see if they re-sign him, maybe to a couple years, something cheap, maybe $20 million a year or something. I have to want to wait and see. Or because the Giants, they're picking like number 20 or somewhere around there. Okay, they're not getting one of the top 3 quarterbacks. That's not happening. I mean, I don't think any way at all. That Shane was going to want to package a first this year, a first next year, 3 firsts just to move into the top 5 to pick up a quarter. I don't see that happening. I think he just want to keep building through the draft. So that's the problem, right? So at pick number 20, is there a quarterback there you want to ride it? You want to draft, right? Then once you start getting in the second and third round, is there a quarterback there you're going to want to draft in the second, third round? You think it's going to lead your team to a Super Bowl? So the Giants are they're kind of in the quarterback, HELL. Rams are going to win this one. Raiders are really, yeah. I tell you what, that guy, what the hell's his name? I'm just so stupid sometimes. The coach for the Raiders. He was with McDaniels, right? I think it is. He was the offensive coordinator with the Patriots. He was with the Broncos many years ago. I think he was like there for a year or so, and he was just not. He just did not do good. He's coming here he's just not good. I mean, I don't know what the hell it is. I mean, you got a lot of these coaches. They were under Belichick for many, many years, and they try to go out on their own and coach, and they're just horrible. Horrible. Belton is good. Beavers, Johnson look great in camp. Oh, yeah, Johnson, yeah. Yeah, but I'm saying Darian Beavers. I mean, see, he was kind of like a linebacker, but he's been out all year. DJ Davidson, right? I'm not saying he's a world beater on the defensive line, but maybe some good quality depth, right? I mean, behind Sexy Dexter and Leo the Lion. But then we got Marcus McKeithen, right? He see, the shame with him is he needs work, right? He needs reps, whether it's in practice or whatever. He needs to have pads on and doing stuff, right? He's out, right? Zudu, he's been hurt a lot, right? It's a shame. I said Wan'Dale Robinson, you can see what that guy, the potential for him. He's out. It's horrible, really horrible. 6'5" wide receiver reminds me of Plex. Yep. Oh yeah, and yeah. What? You're talking about Marcus Johnson, right? Right. Right. He's been out. I mean, it's like, I don't know. What do you do? I mean, it's like, what do you say? You can have the best wide receivers in the NFL. You can have the best offense, but if everybody gets hurt, right? And the thing is, it's like, well, we'll just wait till next year. Well, it seems like we just keep saying that. And next year comes around and everybody gets hurt. And then, well, we'll get it next year. Everybody be healthy next year. We're going all the way. And then next year comes around and we get hurt. It's like, it's unbelievable. You're just banging your head against the wall. It's time where we're actually going to be get healthy and stay healthy. I mean, that's the one thing with the Eagles. I keep saying this a million times, but they're very, very healthy. One of the big reasons why they're 11-1, right? Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. I want to say because we're going to get Wan'Dale back. Okay. What are we going to do with Odell Beckham? We're going to sign him. Are we? Right? What are we going to do with Shep? Right? He wants to come back. He's a phenomenal player, phenomenal teammate. The guy can be on my team anytime. We got it's like, look, Shep, you want to play? We'll pay you. I mean, it ain't going to be much, right? Because he gets injured all the time. Maybe with a new field, maybe he'll stay healthy. That would be fantastic. But if we get Shep back, maybe on a cheap deal, right? Be interested to see, as I said, what do we do with Darius Slayton? We're going to get Wan'Dale Robinson back. We'll have Daniel Bellinger. Obviously, maybe we can pick up another tight end in the draft. Who knows? Maybe we sign Odell Beckham. But we got to go out there and we got to get a wide receiver. We got to get hopefully a one. Somebody that can just dominate. That's what we need because Odell, as the years go by, he's going to stop dominating, right? Shepard can find his way open, right? Wan'Dale Robinson can find his way open. Daniel Bellinger can make some catches here and all, but we need. I said, you look at some of the top passing attacks in the league. Look at what Tua is doing, right? Tyreek Hill on one side, Waddle on the other, right? Was it Cincinnati with Higgins? I think it is, and they got Chase. I mean, that guy's freaking believable. Chase. Oh my God, he's so freaking good. The Eagles, right? Brown on one side, Smith on the other side, right? I mean, the Cowboys, and they got Schultz at tight end, right? You got ABCD Lamb, they got some wide receivers, I mean, Juju Smith, Juju with the Chiefs and Kelsey, right? And they then have and I was like Kadarius Toney if he ever stays healthy, right? I mean, you look at these teams. Okay, that have a good passing attack. Okay, I mean, look what the Packers are doing. They got one of the best quarterbacks of all time throwing the ball, right? They have the wide receivers, right? Kind of like a bunch of giants out there, right? But you look at these teams. I mean, look the Seahawks. Look what Geno Smith's doing. Tyler Lockett and what's it? I'll remember what his name is, but Metcalf. I mean. Two phenomenal wide receivers. That's what the Giants need. Right? We can get Daniel Jones, right? But if you get a couple stud wide receivers, that's huge. But for the Giants, it's not like having the stud wide receivers. They gotta stay healthy. Because I said we've had Shepard, all he does is get injured. When we had Odell Beckham, he gets injured a lot, right? I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson now, he got injured. It doesn't matter if they get injured, right? But having that new field, I hope so. I mean, it's like the game when you saw Shepard running that last route. Okay, the last pass that the Giants had, the Daniel Jones pass, was one of the last interceptions he threw this year. Basically, was I think Sills slipped. I guess it was a timing pass. So Daniel Jones kind of stepping back, whatever it was. Okay. I think it was Sills. Okay, he's going to be right here when I throw the ball. So he's stepping back. I guess it was he's going to be right there. So that's where I'm throwing the ball. Well, of course, when the wide receiver slips or falls down or whatever, I don't remember. He slipped or if he fell down. I'm drawing a blank on that right now. But that's when the pass gets picked off. But but just to see Shepard just. Right, it didn't even look like he had any inkling that he was going to be in the play at all, right? Because I think he kind of knew where the pass was going. So you just seen him running. He's just running, all of a sudden, boom, he's on the ground. It's like, what happened? What? His season's over. What are you talking about? What? It's unbelievable. The guy came and run 10 yards down the field. Boom, the season's over. And the other thing, it's just kind of makes me scratch my head, okay? And I don't want nobody getting hurt, there's absolutely nobody. But it's like, do you ever see anybody in another team, they're playing the Giants, run 10 yards down, boom, their season's over. Do you ever see it? No, it just seems like it's the Giants players, right? But that new field. I mean, let's hope. Let's hope. I mean, I would love to see grass, and I just it's going to be expensive because that's a multi. They put concerts in there and stuff like that, and you put the grass down and all of that. I mean, I guess they can roll something on top of the grass, I guess. But I think it's just financial wise. I guess it's just going to be a lot of money, just the upkeep and all. The thing, I guess they probably don't have like a Lambeau Field. I guess maybe they don't have concerts and stuff like that and all. But if they can grow grass, in Lambeau Field, if they can grow it like Chicago, I mean, come on. They grow in Philadelphia. They play a beautiful field in Philadelphia. I mean, we're only like 100 miles north of Philadelphia. You can't tell me we can't grow grass. I have a grass field. I mean, the last time we had grass was at Giant Stadium. It was like from 2002 to 2003 or so. It was horrible. It kept, every time they would play on the field, chunks of sod and everything were flying all over the place. They did a horrible job. It was absolutely horrible, right? But I would love to see. I would love to see grass. Absolutely love to see grass. But I don't know if financially Mr. Mara is going to want to do that or not. But whatever they put down, hopefully it's better than the crap we have right now. But having it, you know what I mean. So, well, Ronnie, it's been 51 minutes. It's been great talking to you. Thank you. And who else is that? New York Giants Talk Maddie. I think that's his. New York Giants Talk Maddie. Thank you. Thank you for your comments as well, too. It's nice to be able to relate back and forth to somebody. So instead of just sitting here for 50 minutes and just shoot my mouth off to maybe nobody. Ronnie, thank you as always. Thank you. And anybody all spent any time watching this video, I greatly appreciate it. Or anybody spends any time at all watching a replay of this, once again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys. Thank you so much. And as always, guys, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.